If I ask anybody in the streets of New York, like, give me some adjective or definition of Jim Jones, what do you think one of the words would be?
I would hope a survivor, a visionary, a philanthropist, a person with a big heart, person that stand on 10 toes. Not perfect. He's a perfect example of what could happen for you in life if you believe in yourself. I would hope it's some of them type of things that's being said.
There are bombshells, and then there's what Chrissy Lampkin just did to Jim Jones on live television. A detonation so raw, so surgical, it felt like someone dropped a grenade in the middle of their 20-year love story and casually walked away as the crowd gasped. We watched it unfold, jaws hitting the floor, as Chrissy sat perched on the edge of her seat, cool as ice, and announced her secret wedding. Not an engagement, not a rehearsal, a wedding, leaving Jim Jones as frozen as a statue. The camera lingered, catching every micro-expression, every tremble of Jim's lower lip as he tried and utterly failed to process what he was hearing. Here was a man who, for 2 decades, had danced around the altar like it was a ring of fire, and now the flames were licking at his designer sneakers.
Your philosophies about it. You've clearly made a decision not to do it. You clearly love Chrissy.
No, I haven't made a decision not to do it, and that's a very touchy thing because when you talk about it and I say the wrong thing, and then it goes crazy.
Okay.
And that's one thing I don't want to be.
The audience? Audible shockwaves. Some were stifling laughter, others looked on with a kind of secondhand heartbreak. It's not often we see a moment so unguarded, so clearly unscripted on reality TV. The kind of scene that cuts through years of manufactured drama and lands like a punt. Chrissy didn't just break news, she broke the fourth wall. The unspoken contract, the myth that she and Jim were still working towards some happily ever after. Instead, with one perfectly timed sentence, she spun the entire narrative on its head. It was no longer the story of a woman waiting for her reluctant man to step up. Chrissy seized the pen, scribbled her own ending, and did it on national television right in front of the man who thought he'd always be in the driver's seat. For anyone who has followed this relationship, the tension has always simmered just below the surface. On Love and Hip Hop, in social media spats, through the endless back and forth of proposals and cold feet. Chrissy was the one who knelt first, the one who waited, the one who kept insisting that love was enough even as the years ticked by. But after 2 decades, something fundamental shifted, and in that studio, we all felt it. Chrissy was done playing patient, and the weight of 20 years pressed into her words as she revealed her secret wedding, not with bitterness, but with the tired confidence of someone who's finally reclaimed her own power. The room, already thick with drama, now pulsed with an almost dangerous energy. Jim Jones, usually the smooth talker, couldn't manage a comeback, and we saw something new in his eyes. A flash of genuine panic, the realization that this was a loss he couldn't swagger his way out of.
You know what I mean?
And you're not afraid of commitment.
No, obviously not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Obviously not.
Because usually that's the thing.
Obviously not. Like, I'm not even the boss in my household. I'm permitted, you heard? But
But the show didn't end there. No sooner had the credits rolled than the real fireworks exploded backstage, where hidden camera footage caught the confrontation that would make the live reveal look like a kindergarten talent show. We've heard from 2 separate sources. One production assistant who's seen it all and a studio tech who swears he was there, that Jim Jones all but kicked the door off its hinges on his way into Chrissy's dressing room. Gone was the calm public face. In its place, a man unraveling, voice cracking with a mixture of fury and confusion. Why? He demanded, pacing like a caged animal. After everything we've been through, you blindside me like this on TV? There was no negotiation, no plea for privacy. This was decades of emotion erupting in real time. Accusations flying about betrayal, public humiliation, wasted love. It's here that the first shadowy rumor begins to slither in. The kind of inside scoop that doesn't just change the story, but flips it upside down. 3 different industry veterans insist Chrissy's so-called spontaneous bombshell was anything but. The narrative making its rounds behind the scenes is that Chrissy had been planning this for months, maybe even years, collecting receipts and building the perfect moment to reclaim her power in the only way that would really hurt. A public coup, designed not just to end things, but to make Jim Jones feel every ounce of the rejection she endured. One former road manager puts it bluntly: Chrissy's not the type to go quietly. She wanted him to know, and she wanted everyone else to know, that she was done waiting. Whether it's empowerment or cold-blooded payback is up for debate, but we're left with the image of Chrissy not as victim, but as architect. A woman who mapped out her own dramatic finale and executed it with precision.
in social media about
Talking about.
You know what I mean? Because
Okay.
that involves her.
Yeah.
And I don't want her to feel that
Understood.
type of way. You
Done.
dig? We have a thing that's working right now. You dig? We do know what we want to do, and you know what I mean? And that's not for everybody to know. You'll find out, and you'll find out when we happen.
Okay.
But right now, we're in a great place.
I love that.
And we've been together longer than I've seen a lot of people be married.
The emotional carnage was total. As Jim railed against the betrayal, Chrissy, we're told, barely blinked. She'd already made peace with her decision, and maybe even with the outrage she knew it would provoke. The argument spiraled, touching every old wound, missed anniversaries, broken promises, the years Jim spent prioritizing music, money, everyone and everything but the one person who never left his side. He accused her of manipulation, of staging the whole thing for maximum humiliation. She hit back, pointing out how she'd been strung along, how every time she tried to leave, he'd promised change and then slip back into old habits. At one point, according to the production assistant, Jim's voice cracked with something between rage and heartbreak. "I always been a man of my family. I tried to support you. I don't want you thinking I'm selfish because I love you more than I could love anything in this world." But for Chrissy, it was too little too late. The sense in the room was that the storm had finally broken and there was no walking this back.
But you're romantic, man.
Where's your ring?
Good question.
Whoa. See, that's my time to leave because this is about to get crazy.
As if things weren't tangled enough, a new layer of speculation started swirling before the dust had even settled, one that threatens to turn this whole saga inside out. According to two different sources who worked the after party, Jim Jones was not alone in his misery. In fact, there are claims that he was spotted cozying up with a mystery woman, described by one onlooker as definitely not Chrissy and definitely not shy about being seen. The identity of this alleged new flame? Rumor points yet again to the persistent whispers about Jim's supposed secret romance with a reality TV regular, a woman who's been in his orbit for months, if not longer. Industry insiders are already connecting dots, referencing the notorious November 2023 rumors about Jim and Brooke Bailey, a story both parties publicly denied, but which never really faded down in the group chats or the DMS. The question now isn't just whether Jim was genuinely blindsided by Chrissy's reveal, but whether he was playing his own game behind the scenes. Was his shock on live TV real, or was it just a performance, an attempt to flip the narrative and keep his own secrets buried for a little longer? The timelines get messy here. If Chrissy had been plotting her wedding in silence, was it in reaction to things she'd learned about Jim's side life? One insider close to the production claims Chrissy knew about the other woman for months and had been quietly gathering evidence, waiting for the right moment to strike. And here's where things spiral into pure tabloid territory. There are reports, unconfirmed but gaining traction, that Jim's supposed new companion was spotted slipping into a black SUV after the after-party, trailed by one of his old security guys. The label hasn't commented, and neither Jim nor the mystery woman have addressed the rumors, but the whispers are getting louder by the hour.
But Chrissy, no fights in this series.
No real ones, no.
Just more. This is about the relationship.
Yeah, and trying to get the guys to stay on the same page and keep the house clean.
The social media fallout has been relentless. Chrissy's cryptic Instagram story, "You and I both know you will never find someone like me. Good luck trying though. I'll have you replaced by tomorrow," hit the feed like gasoline on a bonfire. The comment sections went wild, with fans split between cheering her on and mourning the end of an era. One user wrote, "Bro will never find another woman willing to be a roommate for 20 years straight, you're right." Another piled on, "I wish she would have left the moment she got down on one knee and he really said no in her face." For every supporter there's a cynic, with some claiming this is just another plot twist in the long, strange reality show that is Chrissy and Jim. And let's not pretend the industry isn't paying attention. Other artists have chimed in, with Sierra herself famously encouraging Jim to finally seal it properly, with Chrissy adding, "She deserves it, you deserve it, why not? I look at y'all and I'm like, they're so fly, Chrissy is so beautiful and so dope, and she holds you down. Like, down, down, down. This is the spirit talking through me right here." What started as a love story from Harlem, two young upstarts with nothing but ambition and attitude, has morphed into a high-stakes game of betrayal and control. Every move is being dissected. Chrissy's cold composure, Jim's sudden desperation, the possible presence of a side romance lurking just off camera. The pair that once seemed unbreakable, she, the flyest, baddest, dopest woman from Harlem, he, the self-proclaimed family man, are now front and center in a story that no longer looks like reconciliation, but outright war. The ghosts of old fights, old promises, old heartbreaks are all coming back to haunt them. And for once, there's no clear winner, only a widening trail of collateral damage.
Yeah, put you on my finger.
The fact that my Jimmy knew it was time to do the right thing.
course, Chrissy has always been the one who refused to play by the rules. She's admitted as much, saying years ago, because he was taking too damn long, like we're already playing house, he's already stuck with me, and sometimes men need a little push. But this was more than a push, it was a power grab, and she knew exactly what she was doing. We've watched her evolve from the hopeful partner begging for commitment to a woman who, frankly, doesn't care what anyone thinks. For all Jim's bravado, for all his declarations of loyalty and devotion, it was Chrissy who pulled the ultimate move, refusing to let her story be written by anyone but herself.
You better stop yelling at me.
No, I'm not gonna stop yelling at you because you came down here like a retard and you're not telling me what's wrong with you.
I'm gonna show you how crazy I am.
What you got for me? Some information in your pocket? Like, what are you digging for?
I got that information for you.
But let's not overlook the real casualties here. The trust, the history, the sense that after all the years, there was still something holding them together. Jim, always the tough guy, found himself exposed in the harshest possible light, his relationship laid bare for the world to pick apart. There's a sense, among those close to the couple, that things have passed the point of no return. One family friend put it simply, if you know, Chrissy, you know she doesn't blah. If she said it, she meant it, and if she did it in public, that's the end game. Jim, for his part, has kept mostly silent, offering only a few cryptic responses on social media. I'm just drinking my water and minding my business. But even those come off as more defense mechanism than actual peace. Meanwhile, the speculation about Jim's secret girlfriend isn't going away. The woman at the after party, the denials from Brooke Bailey, the long shadow cast by years of on-again, off-again flirtations with reality TV figures. It's all starting to look less like coincidence and more like part of a tangled web that's finally come to light. Fans and insiders alike are connecting the dots, with some claiming that Jim's stunned reaction wasn't about Chrissy's announcement at all, but about getting caught with his hand in the proverbial cookie jar. The whispers in the industry aren't just about Chrissy's revenge, they're about a whole double life, carefully hidden but now on the verge of being exposed.
You having a good time down here?
Yeah, I was until you rolled up on me like we got beef.
You love Miami, right?
I do love Miami.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah. I don't even know you here in town. You roll up on me and tap me like I owe you money. Like, what's the matter?
You always think something.
A mess, frankly. A mess that's been 2 decades in the making, stretching all the way back to Harlem Nights and Miami meetups, through reality show proposals and public feuds with Jim's mother, to the glitzy, dysfunctional circus of social media in 2025. We're not just watching the end of a relationship, we're watching a legend unravel, in real time, with the entire world invited to comment. The only question that matters now is, who really betrayed whom? Did Chrissy pull off the ultimate power play, or was she just the first to admit what everyone else already knew? And as more secrets leak out, one DM at a time, one blurry photo at a time, how much more is left to be revealed? As everything spins forward, we have to ask ourselves, was this the price of devotion or the price of denial? Chrissy's secret wedding lands with all the drama of liberation, but under the spotlight, it looks as much like a trap finally snapped shut. There's no getting around it. 20 years of waiting is an entire adult lifetime. For every meme and snarky comment about roommate status, there's a harsher reality lurking underneath. Chrissy made herself a monument to patience, bending, compromising, holding it down through family fights, reality TV, chaos, and the endless parade of excuses. Maybe she believed in the power of sticking it out. Maybe she just got lost in the waiting. But either way, what's left is a staggering emotional bill that no amount of social media applause can pay off.
As long as I was standing in that house and he was coming in 6 and 7 in the morning, talk about this record, that record, and they had a record out in years. What are you working on?
Chrissy! Who talking to like that?
I'm talking to you.
Stop pointing at me,
I'm
Chrissy,
talking,
for
that's
real.
who I was talking to. I'm talking to you. Because
Right.
guess what? We lived in the same house.
You did the biggest part, and the biggest part was when you ran to
The
Miami.
wedding isn't just a win. It's an escape route carved through 2 decades of broken promises, public proposals, and those famous lines, at some point, it has to stop. We feel the victory, but also the cost. She gave Jim her best years, anchored herself to a man who loved her loudly in public, but quietly dodged real commitment when the cameras cut. There's a haunting symmetry in the way Chrissy once begged Jim to grow up, only to realize that maturity sometimes means choosing yourself, even if it means detonating everything you built together. Her moment of power carries the bittersweet aftertaste of time lost. For everyone watching, the question hangs heavy. Was Chrissy the ultimate survivor, or did she let herself be trapped by hope until the only way out was a public coup? If there's heartbreak in Chrissy's story, it's because we've all seen versions of it play out before. The woman who loves too much, waits too long, then shocks everyone by reclaiming her life in one breathtaking act. It's no accident that the public is obsessed with these stories. They're part tragedy, part wish fulfillment, and always a warning. Every comment section turns into a referendum on patience versus pride, on whether it's better to stay and fight or walk away before the damage is irreversible. Chrissy's gamble gave us a live action answer, but we still feel the ache of all those years that can't be recovered. Liberation comes with a cost, and the audience is left wrestling with whether the price was worth it.
Chrissy, you have to, because that's how family actually gets.
Listen to me. I don't have to. He
Chrissy.
has to. That's your son.
No,
he has to. I don't
you have to remember.
This is a choice.
Once you and him get married, and really, as far as I'm concerned, y'all are married, okay? And if you're part of him, okay, and that means he's definitely me, that means that you're part of me.
I moved to Miami.
Meanwhile, we'd be fools to think Jim Jones walked blindly into this disaster. The warnings had been there, sometimes whispered by close friends, sometimes blasted in group chats by family who long ago ran out of patience for the endless cycles. According to one former Dipset affiliate, everybody told him Chrissy's patience was running out. He thought she'd always be there. He was wrong. And it wasn't just fans and outsiders who saw the writing on the wall. People inside Jim's circle reportedly urged him year after year to quit playing with fire and finally put Chrissy first. Instead, Jim doubled down on his comfort zone, wrapped up in the myth that her loyalty was bulletproof, that no matter what stunts he pulled, she'd never walk away. If Jim's downfall feels poetic, it's because it was so easily avoided. All those chances to make it right, to listen, to match her effort, to step into the future as equals, wasted. Some say he was lulled into complacency by Chrissy's devotion. Others blame the hangers-on who fed his ego and told him he was doing nothing wrong. Either way, the silence from his inner circle now is deafening. No public statements, no behind-the-scenes apologies, just the sound of a man left to stew in the consequences of his own neglect. For someone so famously allergic to vulnerability, Jim is now the unwilling star of his own heartbreak anthem, and nobody's rushing in to rescue him from the fallout.
Well, I'm glad yesterday we all did get to speak a little bit, but we didn't get to really talk. And why you moved to Miami, and I feel some kind of way.
Behind closed doors, we hear of tense phone calls, heated arguments with friends who tried to warn him, and an entourage more interested in avoiding blame than offering support. The legend of the Harlem Romeo now finds himself deserted at the center of the drama, watching his empire crumble not just on TV, but in the hearts and minds of everyone who once envied his ride or devotion. Partnership. The humiliation stings more because it's so public. The audience now judge, jury, and meme generator. There are no more spin-off shows to soften the blow, no more studio execs crafting a narrative arc, just the cold truth that he underestimated Chrissy. And now he's lost the only person who ever truly had his back. So now it's your turn. After decades of drama, power plays, and high-stakes heartbreak, do you think Chrissy's wedding was the ultimate act of freedom, or just the start of an even bigger storm? Will Jim Jones come back swinging, or is this the moment the curtain finally falls on hip-hop's longest-running love saga? Drop your wildest predictions, your hottest takes, and your own stories of revenge and redemption in the comments. We'll be watching, because if there's one thing we've learned from Jim and Chrissy, it's that the real story never ends when the credits roll. Stay messy, stay curious, and until next time, don't blink, or you might just miss the next bombshell.